What's up, family? Hey, we need to have a heart to heart. This is grown folk talk right here. I've gotten a lot of messages asking me to explain what seems to be a contradiction. How, on one end, I could talk about being positive and growth and development, and then on the flip side, be negative and talk about what's going to happen within this country within the next few months, as far as the dollar collapsing, as far as the stock market collapsing, as far as there coming become a famine coming, as far as World War III. And so a lot of people have asked me, man, that it doesn't mesh, it doesn't jive with what you've been talking about as far as thinking positive and all this other stuff. And although I understand that perspective slightly, there's a method to the madness. And the method is this: I am trying to prepare you as best as possible for what's going to happen. I've already told you what I believe is going to happen soon. It doesn't matter whether you believe it or not. I'm doing my job. My job is just to tell you, hey, this is what's coming down the pipeline. Get ready, get prepared. And it is also my job to explain to you how to get prepared. Thus, the conversations about gardening, thus, physical fitness, fasting, meditating, preparing, getting food stored up, water stored up, learning how to cook without power, learning how to disinfect water. That's all part of preparation. And so when I talk to you about physical fitness and the importance of physical fitness, it's because when your body is physically fit, you're able to handle a lot more stress as opposed to someone who is not physically fit. I talk about meditating because meditating teaches you how to calm your mind, how to be present in the moment. Because the reality is, there's coming a time where you're not going to have the moments or the time to be able to meditate because it's going to be chaotic. And I know it's hard to grasp that because we've never experienced that. And so it's hard to fathom those things taking place. But if you sit back and be honest with yourself, you have to acknowledge the fact that you never thought in your wildest dreams that they would shut down the whole economy system, not just here in America, but worldwide. You have to acknowledge the fact that you never thought it possible that every school would be shut down in this entire country. You have to acknowledge the fact that you didn't think that there was going to come a time this soon that every church would get shut down. That all the restaurants and the gyms and the bars would get shut down. You never saw that happening. Just because you didn't see it happening doesn't mean that it didn't happen. It's happened. And there are millions of people that have lost their businesses. Millions of people that are now unemployed. And this is not the worst of what we're going to go through. And so I'm trying to help you prepare and get ready for the next stages of the chaos that we're about to see. And how you prepare for that is by getting as much food and water stored up as you can. How do you prepare for that is by you learning now how to meditate, how to calm your mind, how to get physically fit, the importance of fasting. Because the reality is, when the famine comes, you're not going to be eating as much as you eat now. Because you're going to be trying to preserve as much of your food as long as you can. So your diet is going to change. How much you eat is going to change. I promise you that. And so the best way to prepare for that is through fasting. It's through intermittent fasting. Plus, the fasting is good for you in so many other ways. I'm all about being positive. I'm all about being optimistic. And I've said this in one of my other videos, your circumstances and your environment don't define who you are. Even though all this chaos is going on, even though all this stuff is going to happen, I still have peace of mind. I still have joy. I've said it for a number of years. Don't get scared. Get prepared. When you're prepared, there's no reason to be scared. But the great majority of you know that you're not prepared. Thus, the fear. And it is ignorant to think that if you ignore it, the problem's going to go away. It's not going to happen. That's ignorant. That's like saying, I have a lump in my breast, but I'm going to ignore it because I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to think about that. I don't want to think about the possibilities of what that could be. So I'm going to act like it doesn't exist. I'm going to focus all my attention on other stuff. That's an option. You could do that. It's not a wise option. It's not an intelligent option, but it is an option nonetheless. You could look at the food, you could look at the political system, you could look at the financial system and see that they're all on the brink of collapsing. And if you don't prepare for that collapse, that's nobody's fault but your own. You're not going to be able to say that nobody told you. You're not going to be able to say that, man, I wish somebody had told me to prepare. Man, I wish somebody had told me or tried to encourage me to get in shape. Man, I wish somebody had told me to put a little extra food away. Man, I wish somebody had told me to get a little bit of extra water. Man, I wish somebody had talked to me about meditating. Man, I wish somebody had talked to me about fasting. You're not going to be able to have that as an excuse. Yes, be positive. Think positive thoughts. But be real too. Just like you would be real about that lump in your breast. I talk about that lump in the breast because I had a wife that passed away because of breast cancer. Because she chose to ignore a lump in her breast. She chose to focus on her work. She chose to focus on family and not deal with that situation because of her fear of what they could tell her. The problem didn't go away. The lump didn't go away. It got worse. A lot worse. She passed away from it. And so I'm passionate about getting you to stop ignoring what's going on. Because I saw firsthand how choosing to ignore a problem can be devastating and destructive. I saw that firsthand. I'm not preaching, I'm not lecturing or anything. I love you guys. I want you and your families to make it through what's about to happen. I want you and your families to be prepared for what is about to happen. I'm extremely passionate about that. I love you guys. Peace.